I will show you how to create work orders and quotes and how to get the most out of the work order interface. To get started, you have several options. If you simply want to create a work order for a new customer, click the New button. This will open a new blank work order. If you hover over the button instead of clicking on it, you will see your available options. From here, you can create a new customer in work order, a new customer in quote, or a work order for a cash customer. If you search for and select a customer from your list of customers, and then select one of their vehicles from the Vehicles drop-down menu, you can click the New button to immediately open a new work order for that customer and vehicle. You can also hover over the New button and choose between opening a new work order or quote for that customer and vehicle. For this video, I will be opening a new work order for a new customer. On the work order window, there is a lot of information that you can collect from each customer. Other than the customer's name, you are not required to add any additional information unless your system settings are configured otherwise, but it is still a good practice to enter as much information as possible for each new customer. The settings that can be configured for this screen are discussed in another video. Here you can select how a customer was referred to your shop. If you enter either a license plate and state or province or a VIN, you can then click the Carfax button to decode the vehicle. If a license plate and state or province are entered, Carfax will add the year, make, model, and VIN into the work order. If you enter the VIN, only the year, make, and model will be decoded. Here you can enter the vehicle's mileage in and out, or check this box if there is no vehicle on the work order. The Vehicles button has a lot of additional features which are explained in another video. You can also enter multiple phone numbers for the customer as well as their email address. You can select the sales rep for this work order as well as the mechanic. You can also assign more than one mechanic to a work order, and we will go over that a bit later. Here you can assign a sales category, price level, tax type, terms, and shipping method when applicable. All of these fields can be customized in system settings. There are a lot of different ways to get parts, labor, and other items into the body of the work order. On the left side of every line on the work order, there is a magnifying glass. Clicking that icon will pull up your inventory search. You can search for the item using the yellow search boxes at the top of the screen, and when you've found the item that you want to add to the work order, select its line on the left, then click the Select button to add it to the work order. The inventory contains every item you can add to a quote or work order, including parts, labor, fees, packages, discounts, and many other types of items. The complete function of inventory search is covered in another video. Also on this screen is the One-Click Services button. This pulls up an interface where you can set up the 10 most often performed services at your shop and add them to a work order with one click. How to configure this menu is covered in another video. Simply click the item you want and the system will add it to the work order. You can also add any item from inventory manually by typing in the catalog number. Adding parts that you have purchased from outside vendors is simple and auto-fluent. Type OP in the catalog box, which stands for outside part, which is any part that you are adding that is not stocked by you. Click the description box to the right. Type in your preferred description of the item, then click the blue P. On the outside part bill information window, you can enter all the details for your part's purchase. You can enter the vendor, receipt, or other reference number, and the cost of the part. You can set your outside part markup levels in system settings. If you would like to change this part's markup, change either the markup percentage or actual price you are charging. If you enter the price that you are charging before entering the cost of the item, you can check the Don't Recalculate box to ignore your system's markup settings when entering that cost. You can click this drop-down if you would like the markup on your part to be rounded to one of several options. If this part is a claim, check the Claim Return box and enter the quantity that are being returned. Once this work order has been invoiced, a claim will be created and can be managed in the Claims and Cores area of AutoFluent. Here you can change the date of the outside part if purchased on a different date. You can create a bill, a cash paid out, or neither by selecting one of these options. The system will assume that when you create an invoice from this work order that this outside parts bill can be posted. If you would like to manually mark that bill as posted at a later date in the vendors area, uncheck this box. Here you can add any freight charges incurred in the purchase of this part. If you are ordering more than one of these parts or don't intend to sell this part, make your selections here. If you think that you may be selling this part in the future, you can create a part right from this interface. You can customize how this part will be entered into inventory from this window. Save your changes when done. If you are going to be entering more than one outside part that you will be purchasing from this vendor, you can click Copy Bill Info. When you add another outside part to the work order, click that button again on the newly entered part and it will paste the bill information that you entered for the previous part. To enter a labor line, you can type the catalog number of the labor item you want, or type SL, which is the catalog number for the default shop labor item in your inventory. Entering SL will add 1 hour of labor that is set to your shop's hourly labor rate. You can adjust the quantity and description as needed. Another option is to select the line that contains the part that you just entered and then click the Install button. The Install button will add an hour of your shop's labor below the part that you entered and change the labor description automatically to match the part. You have a couple of different ways that you can assign mechanics to a labor line. If one mechanic is completing all of the labor items on a single work order, you can select that mechanic from the drop-down here. If different mechanics will be working on each labor line, you can select the mechanic by choosing them from the mechanic drop-down menu on each line. You can also configure your system to have your mechanics punch in and punch out of each labor line. With this setting, you can have up to 3 mechanics punch in and out of a single labor line or chore. Configuration of mechanic punches is discussed in another video. If you would like to add subtotals to any combination of entered items on a quote or work order, just type SBT in the line below the last item, and the system will automatically calculate the subtotal. You can add as many subtotals as needed. Another way to add parts and labor to your work order is by using your parts and labor integrations. If you hover over the Parts and Labor button, you can access any of the labor guides or parts stores that have been set up to be used with your software. You can look up labor times for specific vehicles and jobs with your integrated labor guides, as well as order parts from your integrated shops and add them to the work order. If you haven't set up your vendors or labor guide to be accessed from this menu, call AutoFluent support to assist you in that setup. Another option in adding parts and labor to a work order is by using AutoAware. AutoAware is AutoFluent's integration with Epicore's ISE and lets you look up specific jobs for the vehicle that you have entered on the work order and calculate the correct labor and difficulty for that job. Once you have selected a particular job, you can search for and order parts from all of your integrated vendors and compare pricing and availability before placing your order. AutoAware also recommends related jobs to the ones you have selected, allows you to add service interval jobs, and when adding an oil change package shows you the correct oil and filter for the job and lets you either order the filter from the vendor or select it from your inventory if you have it in stock. For more information on AutoAware, contact us today. This concludes part 1 of the work order creation video.